The northern parts of SEQ. Day 2 of the 2019 playoffs. The junior and Colts division take the field, starting with the junior division. Sunshine Coast Spartans finishing in the number 2 seed, taking on the Rhinos. Let's take a look at yesterday's results though. It started with the women's division. Kicking us off was the Raptors taking on the Thunder, and the Thunder proved why they were the number 1 seed. And then at noon, a very close battle between the Gold Coast Stingrays and the Bayside Ravens saw the Ravens continue their title defense, have the opportunity to go back to back to back, and they'll be taking on their usual rivals, the Griffith University Thunder. Then in the men's division, big win for the Ravens. They returned to the Sun Bowl, defeating the Stingrays 35-7. And then in a late delayed game, the Rhinos, they returned to the Sun Bowl, taking down the Thunder 34-21. A little bit of revenge for their 2018 Sun Bowl experience. They'll have a chance to redeem that. But in the present, Spartans Rhinos, and then 11:30, the Gold Coast Stingrays, who finished with a perfect season, 10-0. They'll be taking on the Logan City Bengals. And for those watching at home, the league table for the regular season on the screen. As you can see, the Gold Coast Stingrays finishing with a perfect 10-0 record. Spartans just behind them at 7-3. Rhinos won 4 of their 10 games, as did the Bengals. But of course, some penalties don't reflect those wins in the competition points. But in the Colts division, 2 p.m., a battle that has been taking place in the Sun Bowl in years past, but this time they'll duke it out in the playoffs. The Stingrays are taking on the Ravens, and then finishing us off for the playoffs up here at Sunshine Coast, the Rhinos will be taking on the Griffith University Thunder, a game that took place just a week ago. Both teams look like they're ready, but we'll run through the officials for this game as well. Leading the charge is Harley Johnston here on day 2. Nigel Law will be your umpire. Shane Ossett is your head linesman. David Jones, your line judge. Joe Gosselin at the back. Lucas Haynes is your field judge. Courtney Yutsoy taking the field as side judge. And Gary Kendall is joined by Clyde Summers in the replay booth. And you can see the coin toss now between these two teams. Big Malachi Relton Stewart taking the duties down to centre field.
Our respective ways, guys. Crap, I've forgotten it already. Spartans have won the toss and have elected to defer. Rhinos will receive first half kickoff. Thank you, guys.
And following the trend for most of the playoff games, the Spartans won the toss, elected to defer their choice to the second half, which means the Rhinos, they won't waste their opportunity to take the ball. So their offense will start the day, and they'll look to grab the first score this morning. So looking at the history between these two teams for 2019, the Rhinos haven't been able to topple them in the regular season. They met back in round 5 and round 8. Both were wins to the Sunshine Coast, 24-20 back in round 5. 36-14 was the most recent result back in round 8. Spartan side just falling short of the prize last season. Lost to this very Rhinos side, led by Hearn, who was playing quarterback in junior division, ends up playing a DB in the Colts, and even the senior division. A very quick jump for him since taking the junior division by storm last season. As for the Spartans, well, this time last year it was the Calder Shanks show, playing quarterback and free safety with his team. He's obviously moved on, and no Colts division for the Sunshine Coast Spartans. He's now found a home with, ironically, the Brisbane Rhinos. We saw him feature heavily in yesterday's men's final. And this time, since his departure, that star role has been filled in by Curtis Fallon May. We're underway now. Day 2 of the 2019 playoffs off and running. This kick is fielded at the back of the 15, and the returner will bring it past the 20 and to the 24. That was the Western Cougar representative, number 35, and Christopher Langlois bringing it back. And for those watching at home and wondering why there are a couple of different helmets on this Rhinos team, the Western Cougars were trying to return to the league and get a junior program going. Couldn't quite get one to field a team, but the players they did recruit, they wanted to give them an opportunity to play football. So until the Cougars have a program going out west, they're being represented here as part of the Rhinos teams, and the Rhinos have allowed them to use the yellow helmets to represent where they came from. Here's a strong run to open the day from scrimmage for the Rhinos. That's star running back Regan Holiday kicking off this Rhinos rushing attack. He gets a first down and gets this ball all the way up to the Rhinos 37. Okay, Kenny Andres soon to be joined by Chris Bradshaw, talking you through the 2019 Day 2 playoffs. In motion now, they'll run to the opposite side of the motion though. It's starting at quarterback. Number 42 taking that, and that's Regan Holiday, almost in a bit of a different package. They run a bit of a crazy offense, this Rhinos team. It's almost hard to describe. Their backfield is full of offensive backs, really. A multitude of people who take the snap and run the football. Hard to call anyone the starting quarterback, but right now that's Regan Holiday. And he'll pitch this off to an orbiting back in Ari Coronillo. And he'll shorten this a third down conversion attempt. 3 yards to go. Third and 3. In motion, Braden Flint. And they'll throw back to the motion, but he's got a whole bunch of Spartans in his face. In this particular, it's an Aiden Ryan getting in and getting the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. They'll set him back and they'll have to consider punting. What was 3rd and 3 now becomes 4th and 11. Holiday and a quarterback. He'll drop back and be pressured immediately. Shakes off the would-be sackee, but then Ryan is back to pressure him again. He gets as close to the line of scrimmage that he'll get it back to the line of scrimmage. In fact, fantastic defensive efforts there from a host of Spartans. They do enough to get their offense on the field, and now they'll start inside Rhino territory. Getting in there, doing a good job to break the double team is Jude Scott, but he's tried to lay a hit, which has just been shaken off there by Holiday. Have to look at rep next time. And now it's Mitchell Barwick starting at quarterback for the Rhinos, wearing the unusual quarterback number of number 99. And you can take a look at the field. There's a couple of brown patches there, just a little bit of evidence of the heavy rain we featured in patches yesterday, and of course the storm that set us back, particularly in the afternoon and evening. Hopefully no such cases today. 2nd and 12 now here for the Sunshine Coast Spartans. Again, playing their finals at home, and here goes the star running back Curtis Fallon May for a huge gain on the ground, but the flags are down on the far side of the field. Wonderful blocking by the Spartans offensive line there, and eventually he's tackled by Flynn.
Offside, defense number 15. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
And Jai Zamet there, pinged for the first penalty of the game. They'll decline it though, so technically no penalties are recorded. Fallon May now patiently waiting behind the line of scrimmage, shuffles his way for a short gain there on first down. 2nd and 8 upcoming now. Eight-minute quarters here for the junior division. Played in regulation timing several seasons ago. It used to just be 2 half-hour halves with running clocks. In the spread now, Fallon May gets the carry again, advances this inside of the 20. And now we're looking at a 3rd and 4 for the Spartans. Sunshine Coast Spartans, the lone team left of the Sunshine Coast Spartans club. Spread receivers either side of the field. Rhinos send a blitz, almost get there. Had a couple underneath targets. That particular one was to the wide receiver and Fletcher Patterson. It's incomplete though. Now we've got a 4th down at the Rhinos 19. They need to get it to the Rhinos 9. Sorry, the Rhinos 14. Trips to the right now. Plenty of space to the left side of the field, and they're going to use that to get Falame a bit of space, but a perfect tackle as soon as he catches it. On the stop there is Ari Coroneo. Can't draw it up better than that. And neither team able to get into scoring position. Both teams getting turned away on 4th down here to start the game. First and 10 now from their own 26. Again, motioning play behind the line of scrimmage and then giving it to Flynn. Short gain on the play. Give him a yard. 2nd and 9 now. Starting center there, Brianna Dwyer ready to snap. Trips left for the Rhinos, again motioning a player, going behind Holiday now. Holiday will throw to him, and the Spartans return the favor. Getting in there for a tackle behind the line. Jude Scott, the Mike backer, giving the Rhinos a 3rd and long to deal with. They're all the way back at their own 20 now. The mark for the first down is the 36. Trips to the open side of the field, setting Flynn in motion again. And they'll run away from that motion now. It's Holiday trying to work some magic here on 3rd and long. Still breaking tackles. and getting past the 30, eventually to be down to around the 32. And we could be seeing the first punt of the day. Fourth down now. Forget the idea of a punt. Coach Alex Gray has enough faith in his defense to send his offense on the field, but the Spartans have got a player back to return the punt, and that's going to be the advantage the Rhinos need. Kai Pierre-Bermode was expecting a punt, was lined up in reflection of that, and the Rhinos took advantage and got enough blockers to the edge to set up a Regan Holiday for a fourth down run. They convert there. The ball is now on their own 41 with a fresh set of downs. Very tight formation now. Flynn and Holiday in the backfield. 0-0 here, first quarter. And Baker will get a quarterback lead. No success on this play. In fact, a 2-yard loss there for the Spartans. Ball now on the Rhinos 39. Two deep safeties there for the Sunshine Coast. The Rhinos send troops back out and have a player behind the coverage. There's the deepest completion so far today, and that is completed out to Ari Coronillo again. Called his name on defense earlier, this time getting past the safeties and earning his team possession inside the Spartans' side of the field. First down and 10 from the Spartans, 33. Passing again for the second straight time. Holiday, though, under pressure. And the initial contact there was by Aiden O'Ryan. Getting the sack is Fletcher Patterson. Flags down, though, second flags for the day.
Holding, offense number 66. That penalty is declined. The next play will be third down, and that's also the end of the first quarter.
Well, it is after 3 possessions. We're at the end of 1. The penalty declined on that play, so technically still no penalties enforced in this game so far. Teams will swap sides, and the Rhinos will have a third and long to deal with. 0-0 here. 2019 playoffs, day 2, game 1. Sunshine Coast Spartans taking on the Rhinos. You're watching the 2019 Gridiron Queensland playoffs here on live streaming Brisbane. Going back from the change of quarters now. Dan Counter still says second down, the whiteout official, and did mention that it will be third down coming out of that last call, given the penalty being declined. Ollie Johnston running the show today in the stripes. Don't know if there's been a correction of downs there, but still saying second down by the chain crew. Holiday with a deep drop and trying to complete a deep pass, and he's almost picked off by his opposite number there. Getting his hands on the ball was Alexander Peckett, a returning player for the Spartans outfit. Well, perhaps there was an error in the call there. Third down now was being signaled, so but 3rd and 20. Not necessarily going to go for it all here on 3rd down. As we've seen, both these teams more than happy to go to 4th down territory. Handing the ball off the end around to Coronillo, and Coronillo has a physical run which will get this ball inside not only the 30 but possibly the 25, but it's hurt him. Hasn't gotten up since completing that run. Look at the physical end to this carry here. Oh, coming in, laying some lumber was Sean Ledger. He is still down. There's injury timeout. So if, we'll take a look at this again. It was a great run from him. As I said, this Rhinos offense built on these motion runs. You can see the stiff arm there. That gets him to the outside. Another broken tackle here. But it's Ledger who lays the hit stick on him there that has sent him to the ground and unable to get up yet. He's still getting medical attention here. We might look at taking a bit of a break here. Oh no, he's up now. He's sitting up, which is a good sign. And now he's going to make his way to the sideline. And looks like under his own strength, so cancel that ad break. And looks like he's going to get some further attention off the field, and we'll resume play here. It's a 4th down play. He almost converted it. They had a 3rd and 20. He got 19 of that, and now we've got 4th and 1. Balls at the Spartans 23. The first down mark is at their own 22. Holiday waits the snap here, 4th down, and they'll hand this off quite traditionally, and it'll be shut down there. Fletcher Patterson tackling Flynn, and for the 3rd straight time, neither of these offenses will add points on the board. A very stingy morning between these two defenses to kick off day 2. Five wide spread here for the Sunny Coast Spartans. 3 of them to the open side. They'll look to set up a screen to Fallon May. Fallon May's got plenty of space following the outside block, and now he's going to use his speed and turn it past the 30. No flags on the play. This will stand, and the Spartans, they open the account. A long run there to Curtis Fallon May on the back of a screen.
We have a touchdown.
The home side, they'll get on the board first. Mitchell Barwick. That is going to be a 65-yard receiving touchdown there for Fallon May, the Queensland running back. And on the 2-point conversion, they'll cry the quarterback draw there to Barwick. Rhinos hem that in, and the score will remain at 6-0.
PAT is no good.
Still a bit of an overcast day here on the Sunshine Coast. For those who might have been tuned in yesterday, the day started beautifully before a couple of storms came rolling in over the mountains behind us here at Sunny Coast Stadium. Ended up shortening the Stingrays Ravens game. Took out halftime, ended up moving their fourth quarter to 7 minutes. And then the men's Rhinos game against the defending champs, the Griffith Uni Thunder, was supposed to kick off at 5:30 p.m. local yesterday. Didn't end up getting on till well after 7 p.m. A bit of a late night for those tuned in, and certainly for us here at live streaming at Brisbane. And this might be the first enforced penalty of the morning. Kickoff going out of bounds. Down to centre field for the call.
Kick out of bounds, kicking team. The ball will be re-kicked 5 yards from the original spot.
The runners are taking the option to take the re-kick, so the Spartans will move back 5 yards from the usual kickoff spot, which is their own 35. Oh, sorry, their own 30, now kicking back from the 25, I apologise. And for teams with electrifying returners, which both of these teams are, often will take the opportunity to take the re-kick, especially if it means the kick is likely to stay inbounds and returnable. And they'll squib this pin mode, that is, and Flynn will let it go. We'll let Holiday pick it up, and he'll be met very quickly, getting this return though back to the Rhinos 35, and they'll get an opportunity now to try and match the touchdown effort from the Sunshine Coast Spartans. The home side today, and I'll tell you what, you can hear it. First down and 10 now. Down 6-0 here in the second quarter. And Holiday will run out to the left, can't find any space though. Staunch defense from the Spartans there, sees a loss of 3. In fact, there was a loss of 4 at a biz. Second and 14. Flynn in motion. Very deep, and they'll use it as a toss. Is it a possible? There might have been a halfback pass there, but it's a big stop again. Back-to-back plays for the Spartans. Aiden Ryan making another big play. Ball's all the way back at the 20 now. 3rd and 25 now. They did have a 3rd and 20 last drive. They got that within a yard of converting. Couldn't get the job done on 4th down. Holiday fakes the pass and now backs himself to the outside. He'll get this past the 30. It'll still be a very long 4th down attempt should they try it. It's one of the few times the Rhinos have been brought to 4th down inside their own territory. Ball. Advanced pass at the Rhinos 30. It's spotted now at their 31. Spartans just need one more to keep a hold of this lead, and the Rhinos will opt to punt this time. It's a great punt. In fact, that's one of the best punts we've seen today. And by today, I mean the entire playoff run so far. The wins yesterday making it very difficult for any success for the punters, and that is down inside the 15. A fantastic punt there by the Rhinos punter. Regan Holiday, not only quarterback and returner, but punter, and we thought for a second there might have been a hand on that. It's just a dang good punt that gets the Rhinos out of trouble. 6-0. The Spartans have an opportunity to extend that now, but they'll be starting inside their own 20. Back to 5 wide. One play is all they needed last time, and they'll try to run what looked like another screen there, but to the short side. But this play is blown dead. Flags thrown on the field.
False start. Offense number 13. 5-yard penalty. Still first down. Timeout Spartans. That's their first.
Fletcher Patterson called for a false start there. Now the Spartans want to rethink their first down approach with 1st and 15. Now the goal. 6-0 here with under 6 minutes remaining here in the first half. Spartans first timeout taken in half. The Rhinos still have all of their 3. This time Fallon May returns to the backfield. They're bringing the tight end at 3. Receivers to the right. Speed option to Fallon May. In fact, it could have just been a designed toss there, but plenty of good edge defense from both of these defenses today. Sam Lowe, one of the Lowe twins there, getting in and showing a fantastic form on the edge and a very talented running back. May's run there is good for a yard though. That gets them to the 10. 2nd and 14 now. Four wide now with May back in the backfield. They've set up a bit of a screen here. The pass is low at the feet of May. He can't bring it in. And now we're looking at 3rd and 14. As the Rhinos defense staunches up after letting in a 1-play touchdown drive last time Spartans were on the field. Barwick returns behind center with Fallon May. They come out in the same formation. He can receive it all the way outside the numbers. That will be a long pass if he tries it, which he does. And it's completed there to Pierre Mahmoud. Knees were down as he caught it. And that is an impressive completion there on 3rd and long. They'll get him past the 30 with a fresh set. Just sending multiple verticals down the field there. And Barwick just had to pick the best matchup he had. Protection there from the offensive line as well for the Spartans. Fallon May doing some work in pass protection as well. Another pass attempt here for Barwick, throwing off his back foot this time and still managing to hit the hands of his receiver Fletcher Patterson. That time there, tougher catch, so he can't bring it in. 2nd down and 10. And it looks like he's soon ready to join me. Chris Bradshaw as he gets his headset ready. The Spartans though on a 2nd and 10. It will be a keeper to Barwick and he gets it just shy of the 40. 3rd down upcoming now for the Sunny Coast squad. I almost said lads there, but this team features young Montana Carpenter on this field, and I think we're ready to bring in my colleague commentator.
Hello,
today,
hello.
Chris Bradshaw. Welcome to the booth. Day 2, 2019 playoffs.
Morning, Kenny. How's it going?
A wonderful hit, 6-0 in favour of the home side. A one-play, 65-yard reception touchdown to Curtis Fallon May. The difference between these two teams as the Spartans are on offense.
Another beautiful day for it.
Yes, sir. Hopefully it stays that way. This is Kai P. Mahmoud now taking advantage of a screen. Breaks the tackle initially and advances it past the 1st down. Getting this just shy of the Rhinos of 40. And the Spartans showing their progression from 2018 with some serious proficiency in the outside screen game.
Yeah, screens have been pretty strong this weekend in general, from even looking through Saturday as well.
Yeah, and especially even in the wet, that didn't deter a couple of the senior teams there from relying on it. A lot of teams throughout Gridiron Queensland, no matter the division, really rely on screens as part of their running game.
Yeah, no, the Thunder is a big part of their offenses, though, those little dashing screens kind of things. So,
yeah, I think at some point GQ learnt that you're not always going to find a quarterback who can just drill 30-yard passes on a regular basis. Barwick with a toss play, and it will be Fallon May who'll shake tackler number 1, but again, it's good swarming defense, something I think both squads have done nicely this morning so far, and 2nd and long has been a very frequent occurrence for both of these two teams. Bradshaw from the returning Logan City Gridiron men's team in the bets.
Spartans.
Yep,
that's their 2nd.
Sorry.
We're just getting the call there on the Spartans. I think the timeout is being taken, and that is the Spartans' 2nd timeout for the half. But yes, they give us an opportunity.
Yeah, sure. And I've got juniors in the playoffs today as well, which is good to see. Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back in black, as a few people have been saying. So.
Black in this one. Obviously, we had the opportunity to see the Bears on live stream last week in their final regular season game against the Thunder.
Not quite the result we wanted, but you know, it's certainly something to build from next year. So for next year, so
you know, a lot of returning teams go 0-10 in their first season.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got a couple of wins, so it's a good result to start off with.
Not a bad way to return, and yeah, plenty of people there.
And running out of 5th and 6th string QBs probably wasn't a good start.
Right. Not usually in the successful season playbook.
No, for sure.
It was an interesting theory there, I'll give you that. But we did have one of your Bears in again on the call yesterday, Christian Arnold.
Yeah, he would have loved it.
Commentary debut.
Trying to get him to be quiet would be the challenge, wouldn't it?
Surprisingly. He was monitoring He's constantly asking whether he's talking too much, too little.
Usual answer is too much.
Generally, that's the case. The ball's spotted on the far hash here at the Spartans 39.
Still a big fan of that Spartans uniform.
I think so too. I'm loving the orange. I'm also the type of guy who liked their orange outfit from several seasons ago.
Yeah,
I think I'm in the minority there.
Yeah, I think you are.
I'm also the type of guy who liked the Rhinos red on red outfit. I think I'll be on my own long pass here. And oh, there it is. Fletcher underneath it. Fletcher Patterson. And he breaks the tackle. And the Spartans could be in for touchdown number 2. The field is clear of flags. The Spartans get their second score and their second score through the air. Barwick's second passing touchdown this morning.
Let's put the got the catch, put the burners down.
And that's the advantage of having a big threat on the outside. You can just see the height difference there between him and his matchup, and I think that was Jordan Woolman there tasked with trying to stop that pass. And he had to come back for it there. Did Patterson. He did a good job there, and then to realise he had nothing but green in front of him. Barwick ran it in the last 2-point conversion. He'll try to run it again, and he'll get close.
Whoa.
But they'll say he was out of bounds. Unsuccessful 2-point conversion. 12-0. Our score
EAT
remains.
is no good.
And I will say, in the juniors and Colts divisions, the ability to convert 2-point conversions, you don't see too many teams super proficient in it.
No, it's very, very hit and miss, and obviously you don't see a lot of kicking.
And I think it's something to do with it as well. With Niners side there, you can't exactly just sort of load the box and run because you've got less people in the box.
Yeah, and there is so much space out there. So it's kind of interesting that they don't convert more because there is so much less.
12-0 now. The Spartans are scoring there just a few seconds ahead of the official 2-minute warning.
It's good to see the kicking tee out there today.
Yes. Notice your Thunder squad. Clearly, the equipment manager is your former Thunder squad. I should correct myself. Someone left the tee back at Nathan.
Just getting the numbers sorted out for the kickoff for the Spartans. So a relatively short kick.
And this will be fielded by Holiday at his own 14. Beats Fallon May and now is racing to the right-hand sideline, and again dropping a shoulder along the sideline there is Sean Ledger. And I'm trying to keep my eye out there for one of the Rhinos players. It was Ari Coronillo who received a nasty shoulder from Ledger that had him head to the sidelines.
That's no good.
To see number 23 out on the field now for the Rhinos.
I kept saying my vision's not good enough to get across the other side of the field to see who's sitting down over there. And out come the binoculars.
First down and 10 on the Rhinos 33.
Looks like he's sitting over there with his helmet on still, so...
Yeah. Not that we have information there, as this play will be blown dead as the Spartans take their third and final timeout for the half.
Spartans. That's their third and final timeout.
The Spartans obviously clearly seeing something they didn't like about that formation. Runners, only a couple of times coming out in their own 5 wide sets. I mean, the Spartans have kind of almost made it one of their base formations there. The Spartans smelt something fishy, so they want to talk about it.
I've enjoyed watching the Spartans juniors play the couple of games I've seen this year. They play good fast brand of football.
Yeah, obviously I don't get too many opportunities to watch them play. Usually I try to keep my eye out for when they're ahead of a lot of the senior games that we cover on LSB, and I did see one where they were taking on the Rhinos, and I saw the improvement from a lot of their skill positions. Caleb May, of course, relishing in the experience he took from the junior AGL from earlier this season.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm taking that back and sharing that. And I saw Calder Shanks, obviously, now with the Rhinos, still on the sideline for his Spartans juniors and showing them some love.
Oh, that's
when,
pretty cool.
Not today, but
yeah.
when they were on, I wouldn't be surprised if he was here today, though.
I think I may have seen the flying locks around somewhere, so...
Of course, he will be here a little later, competing for the Colts.
Yep.
Rhinos Colts.
I should be, yes.
You'd hope so, or else we're going to have more dramas.
You may have to talk to my wife about that one.
Obviously, him, not so much you guys.
Him. Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about me. Sorry.
No, not
confused.
you, mate. And there's a flag on this play. Of course, for those Colts who did participate in senior football yesterday, obviously by GQ rule, they need to participate in their relative Colts or junior game today.
Correct. A little bit of conjecture about that last night. A few posts flying around the place, people asking questions.
And a couple of people shutting down those people asking questions.
Oh, really? Who was that?
Looking at you, Gerard Fast.
Holding, offense number 99, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Holding there on the Rhinos, and I've got to say, compared to the games yesterday, particularly some of those men's games, a pretty clean game of football regarding flags today. And I've got to say, I'm enjoying the pacing.
There's a whole lot less laundry on the field.
Timeout, Rhinos. That's their first.
This is the Rhinos' first timeout for the half. With just over 2 minutes, they'll want a bit of time to orchestrate their 2-minute drive as well.
I think you might have jinxed it a little bit there, Kenny.
Yeah. Well, that's a timeout. I can settle for a timeout. That's fine.
What did you think of the games yesterday?
Yeah, look, once the Lightning let us play, I thought, as I said, it was some fantastic physical play, as you'd expect, but obviously a couple of those teams able to grab control when the game mattered most. The Thunder, the men's Thunder game, Thunder Rhinos game, it looked obviously very close all the way to halftime, but once the Rhinos got that advantage, they figured a way to put the foot on the throat and control their own destiny there. So
it kind of becomes a numbers game at some point as well when you've got a big squad against a pretty small squad as well.
Yeah, the Thunder tempted the idea of a upset there, and I'll tell you what, a part of me would have loved to seen the online drama that would have ensued following an upset there, but I'm glad the team that's worked so hard in the regular season will get another opportunity to try and get the job done.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an interesting Sunball.
I think so. Both of these teams have been the bridesmaids of men's Sunballs over the last couple of years. That's going to end this year, as now Flynn can't find any space. The running game for the Rhinos being stifled a fair bit here in the second quarter.
2-minute warning.
As we get the official 2-minute warning there, so 2 minutes remaining in half number one in game one of day 2 of the SEQ playoffs. But after starting the first quarter strong with a running attack, the Spartans have managed to make some adjustments, and the edge has really belonged to the squad in burnt orange. Bit of a Longhorns vibe, a Texas Longhorns vibe of the Spartans.
The only thing I didn't like about the old orange pants is they started looking a little bit pink after a while.
They did.
At the same time, there'd be a lot of parents that wouldn't be like cleaning those white pants.
Okay, a bit of a change at quarterback. That's Coronina, who's back on the field, and that allows Regan Baker to return to running back, which is the position he started in the season ago and still features in this season. And they try to make something happen. And these long down situations is really putting both teams in a hole. The Spartans seem to be navigating it a lot better than the Rhinos right now, but too long are we seeing not only third and fourth and double sticks, but we're starting to see third and fourth with 20 or more.
Yeah, that's
and it is very hard to play offense like that.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, no disrespect, but the passing games aren't as strong at this level. Than
you have a lot of quarterbacks who obviously don't have the 5 or 6 years experience that a lot of the senior quarterbacks, both of the women's and men's division, have, and even the Colts as well. And it's Coronina now attempting a pass down a field, almost picked off well short of his target, which was Holiday, who was striding downfield, and that will bring up a 4th down. We've seen one punt so far today by Holiday, and it was a good one that got backed up the Spartans inside their own 15. This is even further back than that last punt was attempted.
I was just trying to see what the wind's like today, because it's been pretty windy the last couple of days. So
yesterday, particularly in the afternoon, I did speak to Mike Jones from the Thunder to get a gist of how it was during that late game. He goes, it wasn't all that noticeable, especially after they played a game at Wynnum earlier in the year, which was blowing everyone over. But I'm just judging on the Gridiron Queensland tent on the far side of the field, and whilst the wind looks evident, it certainly doesn't look like it has the gusto it did 24 hours ago. Now, this looks like a normal formation, but it's the one the Rhinos will punt out of. And it doesn't get as much of a hold behind this one, does Baker. And Kaipir Mahmood had a bit of space there, and, well, I'm pretty sure whistles have been sounded. And I thought he stepped out of bounds closer to the 40, but Lucas Haynes, the sideline official, said he managed to keep his toes in bounds. Yeah, no, I think it does, actually. The black boots on the white sideline make that pretty clear that he stayed in bounds there. So he advances this ball inside Rhinos territory. Oh no, he doesn't. That's the... Oh yeah, it is.
That's interesting. Wasn't called down the first time.
They're down the chain gang.
Oh, and no, he's definitely stayed in there by the looks of things.
Yeah, there you go. Good slow-mo there from Paul Mills in the broadcast booth. And this does get inside the Spartans... Sorry, the Rhinos side of the field. 2 yards inside, in fact. 4 wide receivers now, spread evenly. Fallon May in the backfield. He'll run a swing. No, it'll be a toss play to him. And the Rhinos give some of the Spartans some of their own medicine there. And making the stop. Braden Flynn busy both on offense and defense. And for those who might just be tuning in a little more and are a little quizzical about why there's 3 yellow helmets on the field and 4 in total, it is because the Western Cougars, who are trying to rebuild their place in Gridiron Queensland, they tried to get a junior team together, couldn't obviously get enough to field a team, but they wanted to give their players an opportunity to play, and they found that home in the Rhinos. The yellow helmets, just a little homage to where they came from. This is Barwick with a run, but flags are down on the near side sideline at the 43.
It's definitely a designed run, QB run.
It's not the first time that teams, particularly at the Colt or junior level, have sort of semi-merged. For teams that couldn't completely field.
Yeah, the Thundercats last year.
Yes, indeed. Literally between the Wildcats and... Am I correct in saying that it is officially just the Thunder now, though?
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
With the folding of the Wildcats club, which was a club entrenched in Gridiron Queensland for many years.
Yes.
It's a bit of a shame that they are Wildcats no more.
There is no foul on the play. We have reached half-time.
And that will be the last play of the half. They're inside the 2 there. The Spartans happy to run that play out. That'll give us our first break of day 2 of the 2019 playoffs. Kenny Andres, Chris Bradshaw bringing you the 2019 GQ SEQ playoffs. You're watching that live on live streaming Brisbane 12-0. We'll be back after the break. Folks, welcome back. Half-time. Almost coming to a close, and we're getting ready to kick off half number 2 of game 1 of day 2 of 2019 SEQ playoffs. Is that enough numbers for you? I'm Kenny Andres, talking you through the entirety of the 2019 playoffs, and joining me for this game and the next is Chris Bradshaw, not only on the GQ members committee but also from the Logan City Gridiron football program. Mate, half number 2, you got a chance to see the back end of the third quarter, most of the third quarter in fact, and the Spartans have stretched out to a 12-point lead. Have they got the recipe to hold out the rest of this game?
Yeah, I reckon they do. They're a pretty strong side. We saw them play the last round against our Bengals as well, and they touched us up pretty well. They're a quality outfit, but I would still say not count out the Rhinos.
Yeah, I think the biggest question is, do the Rhinos have enough big playability to match some of this offense from the Spartans? Their 2 touchdowns so far have been beyond 40 yards. He had a 65-yard reception touchdown of a screen to Fallon May in the start of the second quarter, and then at the back end of the second quarter we saw a 50-yard bomb from Barwick to Patterson there. So
it is. Sorry, I can't speak English. It's eliminating those big plays. It's eliminating those big plays, and I think if they can do that, they can sort of rumble down the field a bit and put some points on the board. Hopefully, it's only 2 scores.
Yeah, it is only 2 scores, but it does mean you've got to be sharp on the defensive end. And
Yeah.
the Spartans, who won the toss, elected to defer. So not only do they have a 12-point lead, they will be having the opening possession of the second half.
You can imagine that first drive is going to be a big one for the Rhinos.
You think so? Because anytime, I don't care who you're playing, anytime you stretch that game out to a 3 possession lead, the odds go horribly short for the team behind.
Yep, definitely.
Something about a 2 possession lead certainly always in your hands, but 3 becomes into that insurmountable area.
yeah. And it's like, if you're down by 2, you score 1. Okay, if we get another one, if we manage to jag another one off something, then we're in the lead. But 3 just becomes hard work.
And to tell you what, obviously I've been around Gridiron Queensland for over a decade now, as coach, player, spectator, the lot. There hasn't been too many comeback stories in the playoffs for any team. Most of the time, the team leading at the half has found a way to finish off the game.
Yeah, for sure. I was just trying to think back to the Ravens and Thunder semi last year. I can't remember what score that was at halftime.
Yeah, I think they were down by 10 points. The Thunder, was that the case?
Yeah,
I remember
think
the Thunder
so.
being down, and obviously that ended up being a sing song. Now who can't speak English? A seesawing affair in the second half with both teams just going back and forth, and it wasn't until a fumbled kickoff by the Ravens sealed their fate. And,
a few heartbreaking moments in that game. The unsportsmanlike on 4th and 20.
Yeah, that's a surefire way to completely ruin an odds-on play for you. I believe that was one of my. That wasn't one of my usual commentators, Mike Jones.
Yeah, it was, I think, and they had Corey on the sideline tearing strips off him afterwards. So. I don't think I can repeat what was said, so...
I don't think you should either. But back to this junior division. This was the Sun Bowl matchup last year. The Spartans upsetting the Stingrays, who were the #1 seed. They did that in the playoffs. Kanan Tompkins was the Stingrays quarterback at the time. Calder Shanks putting together one heck of a finals performance. Coming up short, though, to Hearn and his Rhinos. Some of those Rhinos obviously still featuring in this junior side. Baker, one of those. Railton's Shield as well. The Low Twins. And Baker will kick us off. Sorry, Holiday, my apologies. And Kai Pierre-Mamode has found a seam down the left-hand sideline. Can he stay in bounds? He can, but he'll get taken down at the 15, and that's just another explosive play by the Spartans, this time coming off the special teams unit.
That's a good last-ditch tackle there.
And whilst Fallon May gets a lot of the attention on this team, Kai Pierre-Mamode, a fantastic follow-up to him.
Good covering tackle in the end by Holiday.
Well, it's probably not the start the Rhinos wanted. Already on the back foot here, trailing 12-0 in the second half. To be fair, the Spartans, they haven't really been in this territory yet. Let's see how their red zone offense goes. They give it back to the return man who just ran 60 yards, and they give him an end around. What a move! This will get him in the end zone. Flags down back at the 15. But that'll be a nice highlight play regardless of the result. How about this for a juke move right here? Oh,
and we've lost it.
Logo gets in the way of a 5-star play. Down to centre field for the call, though.
I'm sure that'll be going up on the gram after the game.
Didn't see. I'm not sure if our ref mic came through to me there, but it was against the Spartans, though, so that touchdown will not stand. Holding, I think. Oh, block in the back was the call there. That'll wipe off what would have been the third touchdown today. But taking away the penalty there, what a big 2 plays there from Pierre Mode.
Definitely.
Ball's on the left hash, 1st and 20 now. At the Rhinos 24. Barwick, the 2 passing touchdowns, has a clean pocket and a big wide receiver to throw to. That's touchdown number 2 to Fletcher Patterson.
Steps up. It's a great ball. Using the height to his advantage there. It's probably not the start the Rhinos would have hoped for.
Well, now we talked about the 3-score lead.
Yeah.
And the Spartans' offense and special teams doesn't show any signs of slowing down.
Come out for the 2-point conversion here.
18-0 now, trying to make that 20-0. They spread the field again. And they'll pass it to Pierre Mode, who gets denied for a 3rd time on this drive. That's Coroneo, though, with a good tackle. Stopping him at the 1. So a 24-yarder touchdown pass there to Mitchell Barwick. Set up, of course, by the big return there from Kai Pierre Mode.
I guess the only small grace is that they score quickly, so it still gives the Rhinos a bit of time to come back into this.
Yeah, well, took them less than a minute to do it of game time. Our time says 7:15, our time says approximate, but awfully close. This Rhinos junior team, one of 3 Rhinos teams in the playoffs, and in fact all of the Rhinos club competing in the playoffs this weekend. Men's were obviously yesterday, Colts and juniors today. Short kickoff from the Spartans. They're really trying to apply the belly to the blowtorch now. Kai Pierre Mode recovering his own onside kick. We saw one of those yesterday. Wasn't successful. The Spartans showing the seniors how it's done. Brought up this man yesterday, Pat McAfee, former Colts punter and kickoff specialist. He'd be proud of that one. Well, now, this Rhinos offense stays on the field. They don't get another opportunity. The Spartans recover the kick, and now their offense, who were fresh from a touchdown, jump back on the field, and it was a pass, but Barwick tucks it and runs, manages to grab 2 on that play, 2nd and 8 upcoming.
Having 23 back out there, I can't quite catch the name. It's definitely short up that defense in the middle. There's a couple of good tackles already, which is good to see.
That's Coroneo. There's that Micah Backer for this Rhinos defense. This defense might have to try and pull something special here. Offense robbed of an opportunity. Defense might have to come up with a big play. They try to generate some pressure through a blitz, but Barwick gets that ball out quickly, gets it to Pierre Mode, who's really put a stamp already on this second half, and we're only 7 plays in.
So I haven't got too many of the other teams' junior games. Do you know most of them playing spread these days, or
more and more it seems like that's the case. Obviously, that's a bit of a trickle down effect all the way from the collegiate level, with the way that the young coaches are stepping in and doing their research, trying to figure out what works, and it's also teams trying to take advantage of obviously the more space that's created by the 9-man format. But at the same time, sometimes you have some coaches who go the opposite direction and actually use the opportunity to go 5 Rhino linemen. The Rhinos a season ago did that and created almost an unstoppable running game on way to a junior Sun Bowl, and this play is a measure of revenge for this Rhinos defense. They take down the running back for a loss there, and then we'll make it 4th down from the Rhinos 38.
It's going to be interesting here to see if the Spartans go for the throat here, or are they going to punt it away?
Well, up by 3 scores, they went for the onside kick.
True.
Inside Rhinos territory. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for it, but Barwick has come to the sideline and they're sent on PMO mode. So, punting looks like the option. They'll try to pooch the Rhinos inside their own 10. The punt is high, and it'll take a friendly bounce for the Spartans. And Flynn now has a chance to return. Has a little bit of blocking set up. Has to break the first tackle there of Ledger, and I think that is the linebacker and Jude Scott. Eventually puts an end to that return that gets them outside the 20. The Rhinos, they'll start work at their own 21.
It's a good tough return. Broke some tackles, made some yards. And a good shot on, put on the end by 52.
You're watching the Junior Division playoffs right now. The Junior Division created by GQ a season ago. First season last year. Separating the former Colts age group, which should extend from age 14 to 18. Now they've separated the teenage divisions into 2 different divisions, the juniors and the Colts. Juniors being ages 14 to 16, the Colts 17 to 19. And now Holiday with a good run, and it's good for a first down there. So some life back into this Rhinos sideline following a big run there from Regan Holiday, who's speaking to coaches, is probably ready to move up the ranks. He does play for the Colts and will probably play for the Colts in their upcoming game this afternoon, but some say he probably wouldn't look out of place as a second or a third string roll up in the senior level too.
The Rhinos are pretty good at getting that pipeline going at the moment. It's probably the club to be at the moment for as far as the way they're progressing their players through the ranks.
I've not seen a graduation rate like it. The Rhinos head through to the left. This time, that man Holiday met in the backfield, immediately had a bunch of orange in his face. It was the jersey of Jude Scott. Two-yard loss on the plate, 2nd and 12. Coronia now out in the left slot, lining up right on the left hashes. Outside of him, Jordan O'Woolman. And Coronio goes in motion. It's a high snap though, and Holiday has to go back and dive on it. It'll put them in a hole here on 3rd down.
Center's got a little bit excited, put it a bit high.
And look, that's really the first bad snap of the day. And I did mention it, I think, when we were covering the women's division. You know, sometimes snapping, as pertinent as you think it would be to our game, given that literally that's how almost every play starts, you still don't often get enough time to practice it. There's only usually about 4 hours a week that team can practice. It's really on centers and long snappers to put in their own work. Today, it's been 2 quality centers getting the job done. That's the first time, and a bit of trickery here. Throwing back to Coronio, but this will be wrestled away for what I think will be an incomplete pass, almost intercepted there by Samuel Wilshire. But they try the old running back pass. Not quite to the success that they wanted. Coronio almost wrestled that ball away from a would-be interceptor. I think they might, and the flags are down are actually over at the far sideline at the Rhinos 24. We'll have a lot to discuss on this play.
Yeah, I think splitting the divisions has been a good thing. I think we're seeing a lot more of the young guys coming through that 14 to 15-year-old age group that maybe not quite big enough to play with the 18-year-olds.
Head to centre field now for the official ruling.
Ineligible downfield, offense number 26. That's a 5-yard penalty, and that's a loss of down, so it's 4th down.
So an eligible man downfield. So to explain that, on pass plays where a player passes the football forward there, the offensive line of the 3 blocking players, they cannot go more than a yard downfield. So, 3 yards downfield, I apologise. And on trick plays like that, where it looks like a run and then turns into a pass, those linemen have to be really, really disciplined to make sure they stay where they need to until they can move forward downfield. And we saw yesterday in the men's senior game, it's a hard job to do, and especially with the types of offenses coming out now with so many different options for the quarterback or ball handlers. These poor linemen can get caught into no man's area.
Yeah, for sure. And especially the run pass offense that a lot of people seem to be running at the moment. Knowing the ability to whether to stay put or get downfield is a bit of a challenge.
Correction to that penalty, they have declined the penalty, it will be 4th down.
Alright, well, given that was a 3rd down pass that ended up incomplete, the Spartans opted not to take that. So what that means is they give up yardage, but they get the 4th down there. That would have been obviously not a loss of down, I would assume, and it would have been a repeat 3rd.
Yep. I believe so.
Rhinos now in their punting formation, which, to their credit, looks like one of their standard offensive ones. So
it does.
A bit of confusion here for the Spartans. And this time they change punters. Flynn takes this punt, and it's not a bad one there. And I don't know if hang on. I didn't hear whistles, but it looks like that's the case. For those who might be watching and trying to figure out what's going on there and wondering why the Rhinos didn't score, that was a punt, and the punting team can't promote that ball forward if it hasn't been touched by an opposition team. And I don't believe that happened, and
no.
That's correct, and I think that's just a couple of young players still figuring out the rules of this game.
I think that goes across all levels when it comes to punt.
100%. That's what your special teams coordinator's for.
Yeah.
Shouting the rulings. Get on it, get away from it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Punt return. You guys stay away from the ball. But no matter how many times you tell them, they still go for the ball.
Something luring about it, isn't
The
it?
ball was never touched by Spartans prior to Rhinos receiving 1st down Spartans.
Oh, it's nice of a right-hand referee just to communicate that to the crowd. 1st down and 10 for the Spartans, who have an 18-point lead. And this is Fallon May, who's not afforded an opportunity to promote that ball. A good tackle there for the Rhinos. And on the stop is Robert Tulloch, younger brother of Aroha, we saw yesterday playing for the Gold Coast Stingrays. And it's Robert Tulloch Jr., technically, with his father, a former Gridiron Queensland player as well as his mother.
Definitely a family affair.
Yes, sir, the Tulloch family. 2nd and 13. Barwick, who's been on fire with the arm today, buys some time, tries to get this to number 50 there, Joshua Pearson. And they can't quite get on the same page. Now the Spartans are tasked with the 3rd and 13. Mormon on the coverage.
Must be a few lows. The Rhinos team floating around as well.
I was about to say, speaking about family affairs, there's 3 lows. Jack Law obviously at the senior level.
Yep.
And technically Colts, I believe. Yep. And then his two twin brothers here in this junior division, and this play will be called dead.
Offside, defense number 66 and 41. Unabated access to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
So, offside there on the defense, and just to break down that ruling, when they say unabated access to the quarterback, it's the officials deeming that, well, they're calling it short because, you know, at a safety for the quarterback there, obviously if a player jumps offside, try to stop him before he can hit the quarterback there. And as Barwick patiently waits for his routes to develop, has got PMO mode behind the safeties. He should take this all the way. A valiant chase there from Coronillo, but PMO mode, he'll get into the end zone this time, and no flags to take it away from him. And that is the Spartans' fourth touchdown. Robbie Barwick's fourth through the air. I keep saying Robbie Barwick, my apologies. Mitchell Barwick.
Did well to keep the play alive, the QB in the backfield, moving around.
2-point conversion upcoming. Spartans yet to convert one today. And whoa, God, this, oh, what a pitch! And there it is. Fallon May will convert this. I thought he'd coughed that up, and perhaps he did, but regardless, it's a backwards pass to Fallon May. And yeah, it has been a pitch, a perfect pitch at that. And that's good enough to get the Spartans' first conversion, but it's come at a bit of a cost here. He's copped a shot in that process, and he's still down.
Hopefully just winded.
Oh, defender didn't miss.
No. So we'll see, have a short time out here while we have the medics assess the player that's down. In the meantime, it's 26-0 to the Spartans over the Rhinos in the first juniors playoff for the SEQ
result of the play is a 2-point conversion.
Game following next will be the first place Stingrays versus the fourth place Bengals. And 2 games later this afternoon for the Colts division, which is the 17 to 19-year-olds. Spartans clearly have this one in full control. The Rhinos struggling just with the big play ability of the Spartans. It's another beautiful day up here on the Sunshine Coast. Hopefully we'll keep the storms away today, unlike yesterday. Let's see. Number 99's up and walking off the field, which is good to see. Hoping we'll see him back on the field shortly. So we'll see the kickoff here from the Spartans back to the Rhinos. With roughly a minute to go in the third quarter, our time's not completely accurate, so...
Yes, PMO's back to kick this off, and it'll be interesting to see how the Spartans approach this, and also how the Rhinos placed their first line. Pimmer mode recovering his onside kick attempt last time the Spartans were here. But how about the day for Robbie? Sorry, I keep calling him Robbie, former Barwick in the Spartans uniform. Mitchell Barwick, and we'll get it right eventually. Mitchell Barwick, 4 touchdowns and a playoff effort. They'll go short again. And it will be recovered by the Rhinos there. Another legit opportunity for the Spartans to grab a possession there, but the Rhinos offense will come back on the field.
I have to ask, what's the dial that you're playing with there?
Oh, just a little dialer down there. It's just a little device to work out the length of players. Of course, that involves a little more mathematics given the 90-yard fields of Gridiron, Queensland.
So after having a few home games at our field, now seeing a rugby league field set up as a Gridiron field seems quite short.
It's amazing the difference, 10 yards, mate.
Oh, definitely.
First down and 10. Holiday is there if it's needed. Coronia, though, who's taking the snaps at quarterback now. If you want to call it that, we'll get a good first down or on. He'll get it just shy of the 30.
A good run, just kept those feet moving, fell forward.
Three wide receivers now. This seems to be the go-to formation for the Rhinos. Coronio taking the snap, passing, and Montana Carpenter's there on the coverage. Flags down at the Spartans 36.
Holding, offense number 66, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
And they're on the offense. Today not getting any easier for this Rhinos attacking unit. That'll move them all the way back to the halfway point. And more on the halfway fields for those who might be watching abroad in particular from usual American football countries. Might be confused there seeing the 40 and the 50 being separated by 5 yards. Rugby league fields here are what most of the Gridiron is played on here in Queensland, which, due to the goalposts being placed behind the goal line, means that we take the yardage from the middle of the field. So only 5 yards at halfway, between the 40 and halfway. Holiday with another carry there. Peckett with another tackle.
That is the end of the third quarter.
That is the end of the third quarter. One more quarter to play here for these two teams. The Spartans with a commanding lead over the reigning junior division champs, 26-0. But the Moreton Bay, well, I know they have a lot of space out there, and I don't know if those goalposts are movable over it.
I remember Jason saying something about them making it. Otherwise, we'll claim to have the only 120 field in GQ.
It was, I think, the last one I properly remember, I think, was over at Ipswich, and the Cougars were located at Ipswich. Not only did they have a 120, but they actually had the traditional Gridiron goalposts.
Because they had them brothers St Brendan's when the Bears were at Rockley. They're still a 100-yard field, but
yeah, very few. Which obviously most of our Australian sports are played on 100-metre rugby league fields.
We did do a little bit of investigation about the Y posts, but too expensive to produce.
It's a lovely idea, but ultimately probably more than it's worth.
Yep. And there's something ridiculous 4-metre hole that had to be dug to cantilever them, and
but yes, haven't seen single post goalposts or the Y goalposts since the old Ipswich fields back in 2008. Second down now. Rhinos need 15. Coronio will be given the carry with their Spartans defensive front now asserting their dominance with the lead. That was Aiden Ryan again into the tackle, headed by a few of his defensive lineman there. 3rd down and long.
It's coming from everywhere. Almost a 4-man front.
Indeed. And that's pass attempt that's completed to Coroneo. Holiday's got him. Now he's trying to beat the tackle there off Peckett. The arm fight all the way down to the 21, and another big play, a much needed play here for the Brisbane Rhinos.
I guess that's the challenge with sending so many people. The holes are there if they've got enough time to get that ball off.
Yeah, Caleb Rivers also on the stop. Rhinos now 1 yard out of the Spartans red zone. In their own spread now. They're bringing Coroneo, but they run to the opposite side. Here goes Holiday with a good juke. Now he's got space to the sideline. The Spartans might have given up their first. The Rhinos, well, they're in, but flags are down at the 21.
Replay coming.
I think this could be going against the Spartans.
There is no touchdown on the play. False start. Offense number 67. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
And the Rhinos have to wait for their first touchdown. Holding on that play wipes that touchdown off the board. Plenty of punts so far for the Rhinos. Haven't been able to obviously get on the scoreboard, but
Yeah.
the last 4 possessions have been seeing them giving this ball back to the Spartans via way of punt. 1st down and 15. They're on the Spartans 26. Huge job here from Baker trying to set up. I don't know if that was a design screen or if it just took his check down there. Coroneo was the target. Peckett on the coverage. I don't think it was a design screen. Usually when you see a drop of that deep,
Yeah.
it's to try to allow the blockers to get some time.
Just saw danger coming.
And it looks taken down from the same spot. Montana Carpenter moving around now at corner. Spartans showing. Little for the receivers and in and out motion there for the Cougar Rhino number 14, Braden Flynn, my apologies. Also looking at below him, Jai Zammit, also one of these Cougars and playing for the Rhinos is Jai Zammit, and I'm assuming that's got to be a relation to Ian Zammit.
I believe so.
From the famous name in the Cougars ranks. Now, yesterday when we saw teams line up like this, with receivers to the short side, no, forget that thought. The snap is awkward. It's high, and Holiday has to just take it and do the best he can with it. Now they've got 4th down, all the way back at the Spartans 34.
Question is, what do they do here? Do they punt it away, or do they just try and...
Well, look, there's under 6 minutes remaining in what could be your last game of the season. You're trailing 26-0.
Yeah, you got to imagine.
What's
yeah.
a punt going to do? That being said, they are come out. And there's 3 wide set. Coroneo sets himself. And And they will pass. Holiday throwing over the middle, even. And they will fall incomplete. Turnover and downs for the Rhinos. And this will be first down for Spartans. The Spartans will have an opportunity here to put together a drive that could take out much of the rest of this fourth quarter. That being said, most of the drives, they haven't had too many long drives.
No, it's all been big plays.
And what they have done in return, though, to sort of milk more time off the clock is that stuff like that onside kick there, and they've stretched some of these short, albeit scoring
Timeout. Spartans. That's their first.
drives. I'm bundling them together.
I think that'll be definitely on. Whoever plays the Spartans next week will be looking to how they can cut down those big plays.
And for those who are listening to any of my coverage of the Spartans last year, I said it's almost in the DNA for Spartans junior or colt team to be a big play offense. All the way since they came into the comp in 2009. They've been built on big plays, and I've always gone through their history, starting back in the day with Ben Goff, who's around, actually still part of the Spartans outfit. He's on the Spartans sideline right now, I think, not in coaching but doing some video work for him. And it's also his birthday. Big happy birthday to Benjamin Goff, Sunshine Coast's favourite son.
I think a few teams have tried to lure him down to closer to Brisbane, but haven't been successful so far.
Well, one team did. Moreton Bay had him for a season, I believe.
True.
Or it was actually the season he made his first state cap, playing for the men's senior Sun Devils.
Yeah.
There he is now with Brendan Phillips, camera in hand. And then it went down to his brother Jason, and then you think Michael Gilmore was another huge player for the Spartans program. He ended up doing big things in rugby league. You think Calder Shanks is the most recent version of that. Barwick under pressure, but buys time, something he's done well today, but this time couldn't buy enough time for his receivers to come back, and this is a takeaway for the Rhinos. In fact, this is the first takeaway today. Getting underneath that was Sam Lowe.
It'd be certainly great to see the Spartans build their program back into a Colts team and eventually back into a men's, because it's had some really great games against those Spartans men's teams a few years ago. And even then they were a big play team.
Yeah. They always seem to find some kid down here who has the ability to make 20 kids miss on any given play.
Yeah. Was it 2016 playing for Thunder against the Spartans and Bones playing QB? Yeah. Still had some big players.
I actually learned something. I didn't realise the depth of Warwick Russell's history at the Spartans. I didn't realise he was a Spartan junior. I found that out yesterday. And he obviously a Raven now as we see this play take place. Coroneo throwing over the middle, trying to hit his man. He had him. It was Isra Britama, incomplete, but Warwick Russell was a Spartan junior, even back when I was coaching. I didn't realise I'd actually coached against him. He came into the Spartans program the same time Ben Goff did. Played an entire junior career, and Sunshine Coast obviously started his senior career there before the senior team folded, and he had to come down to Brisbane to find a team, and since then him and Brad Ebden have found one in Birdtown.
Yep.
Those guys heading to the Sun Bowl. And this is Flynn.
It's a good tackle in the backfield there.
A good tackle there. Sean Ledger. Proven to be the hitman for this Sunshine Coast Spartans defense.
Timeout.
There's
Spartans.
always one guy that just wants to go and hit stuff.
That's their second.
One timeout remaining for the Spartans. The Rhinos still have two. 4 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in this Game 1, a semi-final. This game last year, very different affair. Spartans taking on the Stingrays, and went down right to the wire.
I think I was on the gate at that point for the Sun Bowl, so taking tickets, so I didn't get to catch that one. It's going to be interesting playing at Dolphins, the games at Dolphins this year.
Dolphin Oval, indeed, but it's a beautiful one. I was there for the Intrust Super Cup Grand Final and spent many rugby league games there over the season. They've worked very hard to make that a wonderful area for spectators, and I'll tell you what, provided you have some sunscreen, it's a great time. Of course, I'd imagine that most of the Sun Bowl spectators will be ushered over to the shaded side.
I imagine so.
Of Dolphin Oval. But that's been a big project in the making. Almost
Definitely.
2.5 years, I think, maybe even closer to 3. They've been working on it. I think they're still doing more. They might be taking out the final hill there. And
Okay. I can't say I've actually been up there, but like the little bit of the Intrust Super Cup that I saw, looks like a nice ground to play at.
it's
So
wonderful. Certainly one of the best local fields I've watched a game of footy at. As is Sunshine Coast Stadium here, home of the Sunshine Coast Falcons. And they'll try this halfback pass again. Baker hasn't got enough behind it. He was trying to hit Flynn there. Falls short, and that brings up 4th down. Of course, any of the Falcon stuff, they're sitting around, probably feel dirty about me preaching the praises of Dolphin Oval.
it is a beautiful spot up here. And the view here is pretty nice, and it's aircon, so it's even better.
I'm certainly not complaining. But obviously world-class facilities here.
Yeah, for
International
sure.
facilities here at Sunshine Coast Stadium. So much so, I saw it's hosting the name of they have a big concert coming in March next year.
Elton John.
Elton John. I thought it was a joke initially, but no. Elton John is doing his final tour in Australia. His final time in Queensland will be here at Sunshine Coast Stadium. We might have a delay game. Joe Gosling throwing a flag.
Delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
That's correct. This 4th down hole gets a little bit more deeper.
Yeah, I have to say, playing up here last year was a pretty cool experience, having like a real locker room as such, and playing in front of it. You know, we had a small stadium. A stadium is one of the experiences I haven't had before. So,
And Coroneo trying to make something happen, but he finds a spot, and it's taken away there from Samuel Wilshire, who came close to a pick earlier in the game. Makes no mistake this time, the Spartans take that away, and you'd likely think that was probably the last roll of the dice for the Rhinos. The Spartans just have to play some smart football here, and they'll be well on their way to Dolphin Oval in 2 weeks.
imagine the Spartans can come out here and run the clock down.
And the Rhinos 43. And they're 5 wide. You can't run the ball if you don't really have a running back, and that's an incomplete pass.
True.
Attempted to Patterson with his 2 touchdowns today. Barwick back. 1 second and 10. Rolling out to the right. There's Pim Mode waiting for it, but he'll be taken down. He got out of the pocket there, but he didn't get the ball past the line of scrimmage. I thought he might have been at risk of grounding there, but incomplete pass there, Will.
Were you wondering if that was closer to a fumble than a pass?
I think they're having a quick chat about it now, just to confirm, and nope, flags are out. Might have been on the money.
Intentional grounding, offense number 99, That's a 5-yard penalty, and that's a loss of down penalty. 3rd down.
I'm not crazy.
No.
So for the quarterback to throw that ball away, he needs to be out of the pocket, and it needs to get that ball at least back to the line of scrimmage. Obviously, he did one of those things, getting out of the pocket, but couldn't promote that ball past the line of scrimmage. Of course, the only other time he can get rid of the ball is if he's got a receiver within the area, and you'll see sometimes quarterbacks do that and throw it to the feet of a running back or a tight end or a receiver underneath. Obviously, no intention for them to actually catch it, but allows them legally to get rid of the ball and avoid the sack.
I don't actually see it called too often around GQ. You can see 1 or 2 a season.
Correction, there is no loss of yardage penalty.
So no loss of yardage penalty. I guess they're just losing it down. Barwick now, again stepping up the pocket, but he's got a Rhino has faced Tullix there now, as well as Coroneo. The initial work there by Jai Zamet, and flags down at the 40. Looks like he's giving the Spartans the option there, or he could also just be giving them clarification.
Offside, defense number 66. That's a 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
They'll get 5 of those yards back. Apparently, the Rhinos being offside. They've got 3rd and long, and well, times are showing 0-0 on our screen. I don't know how much exact time there is left though. I don't think it's 100% correct as well, but
I don't know if we've had the 2-minute warning.
4:21. There we go. Time's corrected. They're still well over 4 minutes. Thought that would be a really quick 4th thing. This one's aired out. Had plenty of height behind that, and was in danger of being taken away. Ends up being incomplete here. The Spartans stopping the clock here. I'm a little surprised they haven't just handed the ball off and tried to kill some clock. Again, not that they're realistically in threat of this 26-point lead being chased down, but, you know, do what you can to get out of here with the healthy players and start focusing on the next game.
Yeah, I think it's sort of the longer you draw it out, the more risk, you know, one of those freak accidents that happen.
And I look at, for example, the Thunder women's side yesterday, obviously putting on a big score, but choosing to execute their offense all the way to the end, if you want to call it that, calling a timeout on the last play, and then all of a sudden, Yana Floridas comes off gimping on the last play there, and you know, now she's questionable for the Women's Sun Bowl. Those are the times where you sort of got to play with your head here and give yourself the best opportunity once you've locked up a position in the Sun Bowl. And at quarterback there was the running back in Fallon May, and oh, what a move on the sideline there to give him an extra 10 yards, proving that he's also lightning in a bottle. Well, that's a different way to convert on 4th and long, in fact. And just
good help from his receiver out there.
Exactly right. Steps out of bounds outside of the 2 minutes. So once the ball's spotted, that clock will continue to run. And there's the running play we thought we'd expect to see.
Well, speaking to Amanda after the game, too, they came out with no injuries, so maybe Yana's injury wasn't too bad after all.
Well, it's good news then. You know, for a neutral perspective, all we want to see is both teams at 100%.
Yep.
And Fallon May again, just running. The Spartans saying that it's just easier to put their running back at quarterback, and they do so for 2 plays, and that's all it takes for the Spartans to add another. They're north of 30 points now, and that's Fallon May's 2nd touchdown of the game, this time on the ground. Oh, hang on. Is that a challenge flag? I see.
It looks like it, yep.
Thrown from the Rhino sideline. Alex Gray. Saw something he didn't like, and he maybe might be tucking that flag back in. We'll wait for the call.
The challenge by Rhinos is invalid. You can't challenge holding. The score on the play is a touchdown. Rhinos will be charged a team timeout.
Well, there you go. So the only fouls you can challenge for are those that result in 15 yards. And as we learned yesterday, those that are 15 yards and are not judgment calls, which is a very great definition.
Yeah.
2-point conversion unsuccessful here from the Spartans here. But of course, holding 10 yards, so regardless of the judgment rule, ineligible.
PAT is no good.
But the thing to note there for the Rhinos as well is you need to take a timeout to request a challenge opportunity there, and obviously if you don't get the opportunity, if it's not a reviewable play, you don't get that timeout returned to you.
So obviously the Spartans got 32-0. Yeah, I don't think we've seen too many successful challenges this weekend so far.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall if we did. I know there was a multitude. These refs, the coaches have not been shy about using the opportunities afforded to them by the multi-camera setup we have. We saw a pass interference challenged yesterday. We saw a spot of the ball challenge. I think that might have been one challenge that came through. An incorrect spot. That is a risk you take. The only way that timeout gets returned to you is if you successfully win your challenge, and to do that, you need a play that is that is eligible to be challenged. So you do not get that timeout back. You need to be quite sure of the situation before you risk your timeout. Nicely caught there by the Rhinos frontman, number 67, Sam Whelan, I think, fielding that.
Taking the rugby union approach, kicking short every kickoff.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more teams adopt it now. So less than the stigma, I guess, of doing it is lessening and lessening. Yeah. You still have many people though who are
purists.
Have their questions about it, and I don't think they're completely wrong.
There's certain, would say, traditions in the game.
Yeah, but it's particularly in certain divisions, juniors, Colts, and even women's. If you don't have a strong kicker,
it makes sense.
And your best effort of kicking deep still only maybe makes it back to the 20, and the average return is getting past the 30. You do the maths, and if you're going to end up there anyway, you may as well give your opportunity to return it. So I do understand that aspect of it. And the maths checks out.
Yeah, for sure.
Flynn in motion. And the Spartans' defense continues this relentlessness. At that time, Xander Gross contributing, but flags down right where he made the tackle. I think Nigel Law threw that flag.
I think he might have jinxed us on the flag count in the second half, Kenny.
Certainly might have.
Officials timeout. That further play is under review for a possible ejection.
Okay. We're going to be looking at some foul play here. And, well, we've seen 2 ejections so far through the playoffs today. Admittedly, both of them already had first-hand that multiple teams will be looking to challenge those ejections.
Yeah, looking at the streams, there didn't seem to be much in them, to be honest, but we'll leave that for the match review panel to sort out.
I'm trying to figure out what they're looking for, whether it's a targeting call or... We haven't been... Just looking for anything in back play there. We haven't been given anything specifically to look for.
Okay. It's a roughing the ball carrier call, but
This will be the third ejection if it goes that way. Carlos Cineparty from the Ravens men's team, a nervous wait. And I think was it Ernest Moore from the Rhinos team?
Was it?
Name escapes me, but
Yeah.
no, Sam Matautia.
Yeah, Sam Matautia.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Who's also joining.
After review, there is no reason for ejection of number 52 from Spartans. We'll play the next play on my whistle.
Well, that was apparently reviewing the actions there of Jude Scott, but he's proven to be scot-free.
Thanks, Dad.
That way. It is genius Colts there. It's always a nervous way for me on Father's Day. Checking that post. That mailbox of mine. But in any case, a second down and 10 following that referee's intervention there.
At least I'm qualified to make those dad jokes now, so.
Yes, you are. There's a few extra bags under those eyes since
Yeah, for sure.
over the last couple of months, mate. Second down and 13. This is Holiday with a go. Whoa, nice cut back there. He's caught the Spartans off angle there, and he's going to break away here. No flags on the play. Rhinos will not be shut out. And it is their X Factor and Holiday who
Touchdown.
gets all the way down the field from inside his own 40. Water on there, Regan Holiday.
Great run. Nice way to finish off the season for him. Not the best result you wanted, but still something to add to the highlight reel.
I've noticed all the highlight reels going on around the league.
Yep.
And you see occasionally someone cuts out the scoreboard and you have a sneaking suspicion why.
Or the flag that gets thrown afterwards.
Yeah, the flag gets thrown, or the garbage time touchdown. Looking to convert here. A little more consolation. Holiday again, looking for the right pylon. The Spartans deny him the opportunity to convert. Score remains 34
PAT
to 6.
is no good.
I know Stephen Soon will have one particular catch on his highlight reel, even if it wasn't called in.
Stegman.
Soon. Stephen Soon.
Of course, Stephen Soon, sorry.
Yeah.
They said Stegman. I'm like, when did Jared Stegman catch a pass? Talking about quarterbacks catching passes, though, how about the catch from Tommy Corwin
Yeah.
yesterday on the Philly special? Made it look a lot more difficult than it needed to be.
Yeah. We'll blame the pass, yeah. No. He came out with a few good trick plays yesterday. The almost triple reverse pass.
Yeah, I think they needed it.
Yeah.
Actually, this Rhinos team was full of points. They needed to find a couple of extra ways to catch them off guard.
They game planned pretty well. Coming out with the Wildcat was a good move, but the Rhinos adjusted pretty well.
Yeah, it took them a while. That first drive was dominant for that Thunder offense, but certainly by halftime the Rhinos defense had sorted it out.
Let's see, there are Rhinos kick here back to the Spartans. Imagine probably be the last drive of the game.
Likely, just under 3.5 minutes to go. The Spartans wary of an onside kick. There were 4 on the front line and then 3 strategically placed behind them, 5 yards deeper. But the Rhinos will opt to kick this deep, and they'll give Pierre Mamode another opportunity. Almost brought one back in the third quarter. Breaks a tackle here before being corralled at the 35. And he's been a game changer in the second half. Really put the Spartans on the front foot.
Yeah.
From the get-go in the second half. A big return, getting the Spartans inside the 15 to start the second half, then almost adding the touchdown himself. Callback for a penalty eventually got in regardless.
It's never really looked like it's been in question for pretty much that first drive of the second half.
Spartans continuing to pass here, and Nia's down. Whistles come in a little late, Pima mode with a reception, but in Gridiron, Queensland, the same rules apply to the NCAA for those who watch college football. The moment any part of your body that is not the soles of your feet or the palms of your hands touch the ground, you are considered tackled and down. I think the biggest time we see that confusion is on punts, when they look at punts and you see particularly like long-limbed returners. Cheyenne James comes to mind, where they'll do everything to get underneath the ball, including having their knees touch the ground, and
the classic rugby league catch.
Not realising that they've already put an end to the play by the time they field the punt.
Timeout. Spartans. That's their third and final timeout.
Taken to the timeout, and that is their third and final.
You see it quite often with the QBs as well. Bad snaps, put a knee down to get the ball.
And usually with receiving, it's not so bad. You know, at least you usually get the yards of the catch there. But the biggest thing I think as well, particularly for people new to the sport, is them understanding the rule and also being able to just process that rule, because you know you're so used to just seeing play with the ball, hitting play with the ball there, and especially if they're still in what looks like a tackleable position, just a knee on the ground. Sometimes it's hard for them to find the awareness to pull back. It can lead to a couple of unwarranted penalties.
Yeah, see a few of those linebackers, their eyes light up.
Third down, they'll go back to the screen here. Pima mode, the recipient. Pima mode's got space. Will he keep it in bounds? Though he cuts it back, and he will keep it in bounds and gets this down to the Rhinos at 33. I mean, the most important of that is he managed to say minutes against. I say that, but we're outside of the 2 minutes, so the clock would have restarted once this ball was spotted anyway. But
so had some big gains from some of those screens today as well.
Yeah, it really is a huge part of their offense, and they've run it as good as I've seen. In fact, probably the only offense I've seen in the younger divisions. The Colts, obviously.
Officials timeout. 2-minute warning.
Possibly some of those Stingrays team over the last 6 years under Christian Yuen. Run a couple of 6-wing. The Ravens team with Joe Cox in it. I was coached by Darius Holiday Miller at the time. This pass is up and incomplete. Another team that ran the short screens really well, but I'll tell you what, the Spartans Juniors team, so I'd give a lot of those teams a run for their money with this success rate they're having with it right now.
All the teams I've played for has just been an option, hasn't really been committed to enough to be probably successful as they could be.
And yeah, just latching on to more of the chat we talked about with the inclusion of screens and game plans nowadays, you know, branching off the West Coast philosophy where they call some of these short passes extended handoffs to you know, offensive skill players. Effectively, the screen game has kind of become a part of that.
Definitely.
Bit of a shift here for the Spartans offense. They'll need to wait and get set for at least a second. Okay, I'm surprised. That was a forward motion if you ask me.
I've seen some laundry from that.
The Spartans got away with one there, because if that wasn't a forward motion, then that was a player not set. But I'm not trained in the art of officiating. I'm sure that is the right call. A second down and 5 upcoming.
Okay, what's one good thing to see in the NFL at the moment? The return of the fullback.
Yes, thank you. Juszczyk, is it, from the 49ers? Bringing it back. Very, very pretty. Yeah, 2 fullbacks in the booth right now.
Yeah.
limited to pass protection duties for a long time.
Yeah.
And personal protector roles.
Yep, pretty much.
Dying form. Probably still is, but people like the 49ers keeping us relevant. There's another example of ball carriers and knees hitting the ground there. The flags are down on the Rhinos sideline at the 30. But gone are the days of the Mike Allstotts, although he was still, in my opinion, ahead of his time as far as being used as a receiver.
But even just as a running back, he was still a brilliant runner.
Oh,
just
absolutely. Hang on. Down to centre field for the call.
Illegal formation, 5 players in the backfield. That penalty is declined, 4th down.
I'll tell you what, for a team that uses 5 wide as much as Spartans do, quite impressed that that's the first time we've seen a 5 men in the backfield penalty against them. So good discipline there, and it's good coaching there from Brendan Phillips. PMMO had the option to possibly punt there, but will throw the pass. They've got the first down on 4th down, and that'll get them inside of the red zone, and more importantly, keep this drive alive and keep this time ticking over. But, you know, even the blocking fullbacks, less and less of them. My personal favourite, Lorenzo Neal, was one of the last of his type. Shouldn't got me talking about fullbacks, mate. I can give a dissertation on the history of fullbacks and their dying.
Oh no, like watching a few games this season, most teams be running with a tight end at fullback a lot. So
yeah, well, that's following the trends set by the NFL there. And a play action here. Barwick taken down by Tulloch, and flags are thrown at the 15 though, near the line of scrimmage. I have to see if he was firstly not taken down by the face mask. Well, he hits him in the ear hole. Once upon a time, there'll be no dramas with that. Down to centre field.
Officials timeout. Video review. Looking for a potential face mask penalty against the Rhinos.
Well, there we go. The officials will step in here and use the vision to dictate whether this is going to be a face mask against the Rhinos here. But yeah, like to the point now where a lot of professional and college teams, well, maybe not college, because you can have like 100 people on the roster, but NFL teams won't even have an allotted position as fullback, because they'll just put in either a tight end or even a linebacker or sometimes defensive lineman to hold that role, which gives them another extra roster spot.
yeah, definitely.
Not even in Madden do you actually have to have a fullback in the slot now.
Oh really?
Made me sad.
I have to go back to playing Madden 2000 with the Bucks with Warwick Dunn and Mike Allstott.
Yeah. Good 1-2 punch they had.
Showing my age now.
Well, that was 2000. Mark Dunn. That was just before Cadillac Williams came in, drafted by John Gruden, who's obviously back coaching.
Yep. Coach Brendan Phillips.
After review, there is no possible face mask against the Rhinos. However, we have offside defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, they went looking for a face mask. Didn't see it, so Tulloch's cleared of that. But they found an offside penalty, so Spartans didn't get 15, but they got 5. First down and 5. And they're at the Rhinos 10. Barwick looking for touchdown number 5. He'll get intercept number 1. And the Rhinos player in Coroneo might have made the mistake of bringing this out. The Rhinos now will have first and 10 from their own 1. But still, this defense fighting to the end.
Yeah, I think if he could have that back again, he'd probably stay in the end zone.
But it's hard. You see all that green in front of you?
Yeah.
You forget that there's possibly a player right behind you.
Yep. Then again, the fullback, and he goes, "That's a long way."
That was interesting, as per rule though.
Ball will be placed at the 1 yard line. First down.
If you intercept a pass inside the 4 and your momentum is carrying you backwards and you go inside the end zone, you actually go back to the 20.
Yeah, because I think I was watching a game that happened not so long ago. There's definitely a few interesting rules out there that you pick up every now and then.
Myself and all the people I bring into commentary, you know, I've sometimes decades of experience with this sport, and there's still rules and little tidbits of knowledge that
Yeah.
we still don't know. It's such an in-depth and expansive game. Holiday's back, quarterback for will be the last drive of this game. The Rhinos will run this out inside 20 seconds now. And that will be the close of the game. Rhinos finish
That
with
is
a
the end of
ball.
the game.
Spartans finish with a win, and they're heading back to the Sun Bowl for the first time since 2015, I think. Looking to add their first title since 2014. For the short time they've been in the league, quite the impressive record for their junior programs. They'll look to continue that tradition in 2 weeks' time. 32 points to 6, the final score here. The defending champs in the junior division. Their title defense comes to a close, and plenty of support for the Spartans here at home. Brendan Phillips, he'll be heading to his second Sun Bowl as a head coach. They get a chance to finish the job. A video earlier in the year with an interview with Brendan Phillips said he wanted to go one better than last year. That was the goal. No more, no less. He'll get that opportunity. His opposition to be decided next game. We're going to take a short break in between games. Kicking off after this, we've got the Stingrays taking on the Logan City Bengals, and we'll be back shortly for that. That's a battle of 1 and 4. You're watching the Gridiron Queensland playoffs on live streaming Brisbane.
Get him up, get him up. Get him up, get him up. Funny how you choose and pick your battles, dude. Keep saying you number one, but I'm on top. Yo, it's done. Dropping styles like napalm. Fake rappers think they so strong. Verses full of hype and always ready for a fight. Spontaneous, magnanimous, cause they can't get close enough to run with us. If you want to battle, get it hard, get it raw. No emotions, I shake you until your chains fall off. What? Large, in charge, I set the bar high. You running with the big boys now. Get up, don't cry.